Okay, welcome back, everybody. How's it going?
The assignment was pretty good the last time, at least. Just challenging, I would say.
Yeah.
But definitely we'll continue working on my stuff at least once we're done, like, once we get more lab stuff.
Okay. Now we're using the 20-minute rule when we get stuck, asking a partner.
We
Yes.
I was looking at in the group that we were at. Some people discussed it, and I was pretty much like seeing what they were doing and then applying it myself.
Okay, cool. All right, well, today we are going to recreate a website. I'm going to create a new website from scratch. It's going to be a fun little challenge for me, and hopefully we get to learn how to do this together, okay? So this may be something like the test you'll receive, not exactly, but something like it. So this is the website we're going to work on. I'm going to unclick this extension, this one as well. So we have this website. I'm going to recreate it, and then we're going to learn together. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my Visual Studio here. I have a blank canvas, and if there's at any point any questions here, I have the chat. If I don't see the chat, just interrupt me, please. Okay, tell me, hey, how'd you do that? And if you have any other relevant questions, I'd love to answer. So I'm going to use Flex here as much as possible. Don't need to really use inline block. And before I get started, I'm just going to make some annotations here so that we can brainstorm how we would get started before we actually do any coding, okay? So the first thing I see here is a nav bar, okay? And I see this left section here. So this has the Django logo, and then connected to it is this little subtext here. I also see, let me move zooms. It's getting in the way. I also see this list here. And I see there's a couple icons, this heart, and then there's half circle here. So that's going to be my first task, is to create this nav bar. Once I do that, then I'll focus here on this area here, centering this header, and then creating this button. If I can do this within the hour, I'm doing pretty good. If I have any spare time, I'll go ahead and build this left section, and then this right section here. And that should be a good amount of work for the hour. Okay, any questions about how I cut up this page here to figure out what I'm going to do? No? Okay, so this should be your process then whenever you look at a page. Try to divide it to the way that makes the most sense, all right? So I'm going to clear my drawings, go back to my mouse here, and I am going to create a new file, index.html. I'm going to create my CSS style, CSS, and then I'm going to create my boilerplate. And then under here, I'm going to create the link, the CSS. And then this title here says the web framework for perfect. So that's all I need to write for now. Oh, it's probably going to say the web frame for perfectionists with deadlines. Okay, that's what I'll write. Okay. So we have our title, we have our style sheet linked. And for this nav bar here, I'm going to create a div called nav. So we know it's a little different from the rest. I am still going to give it a class. Not that I need to, I just want to give it one. Okay. And I'm going to open up my CSS here on the right. I'm going to target everything. I'm going to say, I don't want any margin or padding. Okay. And then I'm going to give some depth to this nav bar so that I know everything is looking smooth here. Okay. Nav bar. Sometimes it's good to leave some comments here. So I'll just say, this is the nav bar. Okay, I'm gonna pick the background color first. And the way I'm gonna do that is using this color picker tool. I've got this from the Google extensions. And as soon as I click on here, it's got the color copied onto the clipboard. So I'm gonna paste that there. As you can see, it does look like that's the right color. And then I'm gonna give it a height of 100 pixels. Okay. Now let's see what we've got. Okay, it's a good start. I'm gonna move this away. All right, now I want to work on this left section here. I know this is a logo. I can do a search for an image. See if I can find one that's white. These all have green backgrounds. So
I just dropped one in the one that they use on their website. I just dropped it in the chat.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
What teamwork?
Awesome. I'm gonna save it to the desktop here. If I can find it. Okay. I'm gonna drag it into my editor. And there it is. Nice. Django. Django is a type of programming software that you'll later use here. I'm not sure actually if we still teach Django. You'll find out.
We don't anymore. Not for like 2 years or so. Yeah, it's a Python web development framework.
Okay.
I love Django. So basically, Django is something like you are going to learn Flask in the next step when you go to Python, but Django is another option for Python usually.
Right. Yep. Okay. So now that I've got my logo here, I'm going to create a section that encapsulates the logo and this verbiage here. So I'm going to do this by creating a class. And I'm going to call it top left of header. Okay, and if I do that, I'm going to pull in an image. And then I'm going to say the source. I'm going to change the Django logo. So here I go, Django logo. Give it an alt here. Django logo. All right, and let's see what I have. Good. Okay, let's delete some tabs here. Okay, now I want to write here this web framework for perfectionists. I'll just copy it instead of typing it, save myself some time. I'm going to create a p tag in here. Paste it in there. And now I have this. Okay. I see here that it breaks off at the 4. So what I can do is create a break tag here. And that should indent it right there. Okay. So now I need to go ahead and put this next to the logo, this text that I just put here. So what I'll do is I'll make it a flex. So I'll say top left of header. I'm going to say display flex. Okay, now it's side by side. And in the nav bar itself, I want the items to be centered. So I'm going to say display flex. If I move this up here, I can see while I'm coding at the same time. And I do have to go ahead and change the image size there, but okay, display flex and align items center. This should probably change the image size. Yeah, it did. Okay, great. Now I have to go ahead and create these links here. So let's go ahead and get started on that, and then I'll adjust some spacing between everything once I'm finally finished with everything here on the links. So outside of this div, I'm going to create an unordered list. And I'm going to count here how many list items: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to say li times 9. And then I'm going to do an a tag. Oh, no, it won't let me do this way. So let's do it this way. A href. I'm going to put a hashtag as a placeholder and say overview. And then I'm going to copy and paste this into each li here, and then just change the text.
I have a quick question, Joshua.
Yes. Go ahead.
Whoops, sorry, I was muted. Would it have been possible on line 13 and 14 to wrap it in a span?
Well, here's the issue. Do you remember our lesson about putting divs and p tags within the span? That's something we can't do. So I'm going to avoid doing that.
Okay, got it.
Because span only takes up the available width of the content inside, and a p tag wants to take up the whole entire width. Good question. Never a dumb question here. Okay. Lastly, I have this donate. Okay. Now, for this heart symbol here, what I can do is do a quick Google search and say heart symbol in text. Okay, so I'll take this here. I'll scroll through this page. Oh, here it is. So I'm just going to copy that. And now I'll paste it right in front of the donate. Nice. Okay. Okay. I also have an image here at the very end. It's like this image to change the theme. So it can be dark mode or light mode. So I will go ahead and look for this image. Actually, I already found this image. I did a little research before class here. So what I'll do is go ahead and include an image tag at the end of the unordered list. And I'm going to say, just going to drag it over here. That's what I've got. It's a reverse, but if I wanted to look for a more perfect picture, I would just dig that out. Just do a little more research. But for the sake of time, I'm just gonna go with this. I'm gonna call it dark mode. Yes.
Joshua, sorry. I do have a question.
Yes.
Again, not too sure if I missed this before, but I did realize or notice right now that we're using a nav or navigation tag compared to before.
I'm sorry. I'm turning you up. Could you speak up a little bit more, Hector?
Yes, I'm saying that right now I just noticed that we're using the nav tag. So in this case like that, what would be a difference between us using a div versus a nav so that way we can create
no real difference. This
Okay.
is just a nav tag for the sake of learning now. There's no need to use a difference. It's just a way to differentiate it from regular div, and for accessibility purposes, that's the only reason there's a different tag there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so dark mode. Okay, so let's see what we've got so far. It's going to look a little weird. Yeah, but that's what we have. So now we barely see the list. We need to put some styling on our list and our image here. So I will target the image first because that's bothering me the most. And I'm going to give this image a class. Dark mode. Okay. So let's go ahead and give this image here a height of 15 pixels and a border radius of 50%. Okay, now there it is. And now we have to fix these links here so that they align nicely. I'm going to target the A tag here. Generally a rule. Oh, really? Nice. You know what? I'm going to use this instead. Thank you, Christian.
Well, we all need a Christian in our lives.
Yeah, we do.
Well, the good news is I'm right here, so you have one.
But even outside of
Coding Dojo.
Yeah, Coding Dojo.
Man. Okay, there it is. Perfect. Thank you, Christian. So, okay. Let's get rid of this here then. Let's get rid of this image. Don't need this. Christian, what did you look up to find this dark mode image?
It half circle Unicode character.
Nice. Okay. So whenever we want to look for a specific image that's like in text, we just type in Unicode character in our search, right?
Pretty much.
Okay. Oh, here's a
Or just
website.
ask question.
Oh, just email Christian.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now I want to target the unordered list here. I'm going to say I want the color of the font to be white. I want the display to be flex. I want the width of the whole area to be 60%. And for the A tags, I'm going to say text decoration none. And color to be white. Okay, so now we see here it's coming along. Now we need to remove the dots. So let's target the LIs. And we're going to say list style type none. Great. Okay. I also want the vertical align to be middle for all the items here. And I want some spacing between the unordered list and the top left of the header. So I'm going to see where they live. They live in the nav bar. So in the nav bar, I want to say justify content space between. Okay. All right, it's coming along. Maybe not 60%, maybe like, well, let's do some justify content before we change that. I'm going to say justify content space around. Okay, that's better. I want this to be white here. So let me show you guys something here. If I have an unspecified tag here, and it's the only one of its kind within the parent that it's living in, I can do this in CSS. I can say, it's in the top left of the header here. So I'm going to say top left of the header. I'm going to do this greater than sign, and then I'm going to say P, open this up, and I'm going to say color white. And now it's there. Okay, great. Okay, now maybe I want a little bit of margin to the left of the P tag here. Margin left. 20 pixels. Okay. And for this image here, I can include a comma and target both the P tag and the image. So now they both have a margin left of 20 pixels. So that looks more like what we've got here. We'll focus on the font in just a little bit. This is a little bit off-centered here. Let's see what we can do about that. Okay. Why is it off-centered though? See if I can inspect and find out. So I'm going to move my console here to the bottom. I'm going to grab this pointer tool. and hover over. So technically it is within here, within bounds. Did I put align item center on the LIs? No, I mean on the vertical align center on the UL. I did.
But you want to align items, right? Not
Oh,
vertical,
yes.
but align
Yes.
items.
Yes.
And that would be center, not middle.
Right. Vertical line is for inline block.
Yeah.
Very easy to get that confused. Now it's centered. Everyone needs a Christian. Okay. Now I think this is good enough to move on from here. I'll go ahead and try to find out the font at the very end, but I'm going to leave that as a lesser priority.
I think it's just Roboto as the font.
Okay. I'm going to trust you there. I also have this cool font checker tool, so if I hover over, it does say Roboto. It's a nice call on that. Okay. So on the nav bar, I'm going to say font style. No, that's going to be for bold and italics here.
Yeah, font family. Yeah.
Font family. Roboto. That didn't change it though.
I think you have to link it, don't you?
Yeah, I have to grab it from Google.
Yeah, I think it's because you're on
Google
Mac.
font Roboto. Okay, so I have to put this in the header. This looks a little messy, so
I typically just do the CSS version. If you go back to the Google site and then go to the import one, oops, go back up. Yeah, there's like a radio button for import, that one. I just copy everything inside the style tag, drop it at the top of the CSS file.
Okay.
So without the style tag itself, but everything inside of it. Yeah. Yeah. And that just goes at the top.
Okay. Let's see how this looks.
Oh, you still, or yeah, I think never mind. You did change the name. Okay.
So this is still not changing here.
Does
So
it have to be capitalized the same? So oh, you don't have Roboto selected, you've got Open Sans selected. So this is the code that you linked is Open Sans.
So we need to find Roboto. Why is it not?
You're on Roboto, you just didn't select it. So close out of this. This is your selected stuff from previously, and then scroll down a little bit, and you can select the font weights that you want. So you gotta, pick whichever ones you want, or there's a select all if you scroll down even further.
Okay, it's a little thick here, so let's see here. So once you select it, it's not moving it here much.
It's up. I think you find it up. Or if you want download family.
No, so there's this view selected families is back, yeah. But it still has these other ones, so you'll want to hit the minus to get rid of them. That minus there, and then
oh, here it is. Here it is.
Yeah, so we want just the Roboto, and then you get rid of that one as well.
So now if I click import Roboto, here it is.
Yeah, and then just copy that part. And then you might need to capitalize the name the same with a capital R, potentially.
Okay.
You just deleted the first line there.
I think you need to unlink it from your HTML as well.
It won't hurt having it linked twice, you just don't need it twice.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
It's a little bit thin though compared to
Yeah, as I said, you could just select all of the font weights and then you could set the font weight manually to whatever looks best.
Okay. You know what?
But
Let's just leave this for now. I think we're spending.
yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Let's go ahead and format the document and move along here. So let's look at our page. We need to tackle this section here in the middle. So let's go ahead and build that. I'm going to call this area I'm just going to call it like the jumbo header. Div jumbo header. And now I'm going to take an H1 and I'm going to copy it from here. Okay. Now I have a button, but let's see what we have. Okay. All right. So before I add a button, what I want to do is style this jumbo header section. So now I have all my styling for everything here in the header. I'm going to leave a new comment here. Below is the jumbo header. Okay. And now I'm going to put a jumbo header. I'm going to say background color. I'm going to just figure out what it is by doing this color picker. Okay, I've got it copied. I'm going to give it a certain height. 500 pixels. And now let's see what I've got. Okay, that's pretty good. Maybe a little bit smaller for this top section here. So I'll say 80. Yeah, that's pretty close. And maybe a little bit more margin left here. Okay, that's good too. And if I wanted, I could change the font color for this, but let's leave that for the end. Details for the end. Okay, so now we have our H1, which is now hidden because the color should be white. But I'm going to target the H1 and do it there. So I'm going to say jumbo header H1 color white. And I also want it to be in the center. So I'm going to say text align center. And now it's there. And I noticed this is not in Roboto, so I'm going to apply Roboto to everything. Okay. I'm going to cut it from here. And now everything is Roboto. Okay. It cuts off at that web word there. So I'm going to just put a BR tag here at web. Okay, we've got that now. So for this H1, I want to put some padding here on top. And that way it'll be in the right space. Okay, this is looking good. Maybe a little bit more space between this. Okay, thank you, Christian. I see that. 44B, 78B. Next to the logo. Okay, so I'll touch that in a second here. If I put another BR tag where this one already is, there should be now extra space. Okay, but that's too much. I'll toy with this later. And I'll try to affect that last piece of the header there. So for the top left of the header, for the P tag, I'm going to say color. Hashtag 44B, 78B. Oh, no, that's for the button, isn't it?
It's the same for both of them.
Oh,
The button
okay.
and the text next to the logo, it's the same color. This color and that color, they're the same.
Okay. Good catch. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, it does look pretty. Yep, that's it. Okay. So now that we've got that, let's go ahead and work on the button. So under this H1, I'm going to put a button. And I'm going to give it a class here. Yeah, because let's assume there's going to be another button on the page somewhere along the line. I'm just going to call it the main button. And it says get started with Django. So I'm going to go ahead and type that there. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Okay, good. Now let's give the button some depth and align it. So the way I'm going to do that is by targeting the main button. And then I'm going to add some width to it. So let's say 280 pixels. Okay. And now I want to add some height. So I'm going to say about 60 pixels here. Okay, it's coming along. For the font, I want to affect the size of the font here. So I'm going to say 15 pixels. Okay, I think it could be bigger. Okay, that's closer. Is it? Yeah. And what else do I want to do here? I want to affect the background color. And I was given the background color based off the color of this P tag. So copy this here. Nice. Okay, now I need to align it. But before I do that, I'm going to affect the border radius here so it's not so pointy. I'm going to say border radius 10 pixels. Okay. Maybe even less. Less. Okay, that's good. I want to give it a border. So do you see this grayish highlight on the end of the button there? I'm going to say border 1 pixel solid, this color.
That's the default. Oh, okay, yeah. You could just do the border none, right, to get rid of it, because the one on the website doesn't have a border.
Okay. I can't tell either way. You can say border none or do it this way. Let's see either way here. There's that also. Okay. Now I want to give it some space here. So I'm gonna just target it by the margin. I'm gonna say margin left, 40%. Okay. It's more or less where I need it. It starts in the R here. So maybe a little bit to the right, and then I also want to add some margin top here. So margin top, I'm going to say 35 pixels. Great. Okay, it's coming along. Maybe I want to do a little touch up here on this nav bar so that it looks a little bit like this. So I'm going to add some, I'm going to take away the spacing here for the P tag, and I'm going to just move the LI a little bit to the left from the right. Okay, so I'm going to say margin left. I'm going to copy it onto this rule for the P tag. Take away this P tag here and say 20 pixels. Okay. And now for the unordered list. For the unordered list, I'm going to say margin right. Let's try 40 pixels. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, that's close enough. So now we've got our header and the main content here. All right, so now let me check how we're doing on time. We have about 15 minutes left, so I'll try to do this bottom section here. Let me take a quick drink of water while I think about how I'm going to do that. Okay. So I've got this left section here. And I've got this right section here. And then I'm going to divide this into like the top right. And then this is going to be its own thing there. And for the left, I'm going to divide this into this area. And then everything below is going to be its own section, if I can get to that. Okay. So this bottom section, I'm just gonna call this the main content of the page. So let's move along here. And I like to format my document as I work, just in case I can make it cleaner. So div dot main content. No, I'm supposed to press tab. Okay. All right. So I'll leave a comment here. Main content below. All right. Before I continue, does anyone have any questions so far on how we're doing this? Okay. No questions. Let's move along. Let's see here if this height of this body area is correct. So actually, I do want to reduce this by some amount. So before I move on to the main content, I'm gonna find here the height. I'm gonna try 350 pixels. Maybe 400. Oh, where'd it go? Where is it? 400. There it is. Okay. Now we want this area. And so essentially the main body is going to have two divs. It's going to have this left portion and the right portion. So within the main content, and I'm going to say main content, background color. I already have this defined somewhere else, so I just need to copy it. And then I'm going to say the height is, I don't need to know the height yet. We're just going to give it a large height. Okay, so now it extends, but I need some sort of divider. So I'm going to go to the mains contents top. So I'm going to say border top 1 pixel solid white. Did I type something wrong here? Oh, yeah. Don't need to put a colon there. There we are. So now it's divided. And this left section here, I'm just going to call it main content left. Don't need to be too fancy with their names here. So within the main content, we have a div called main content left. Okay, and that means we're also going to have a right. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add some. Is there a divider here? No, just this main content right is a certain pixel color. So I'm going to use my color picker. I'm going to add it to main content right? Background color, this color. And actually, I want to say the main content left is going to have this background color. So I'm going to take it away from the main content and just add it to the left section. And I'm going to say the width for this left section is going to be like 75%. And let me take a look here at what Christian just typed. Along with demo text line center on the parent could have been used to center the button since it is inline element. Okay, great. Okay. And I want to see the background color for the main content left. So what's going on here? I think, oh, it needs a height as well. Height, I'm going to say 400 pixels. Okay, so there's our left section. Let's do a little comparison. So not 75, it's going to be 65.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Is this where Let's Grow comes into place, or just using the flats?
I haven't used Flex yet. I could. I've just put two divs into one. The bottom the below div is still below, so I do need to apply Flex. So it's a good thing you brought that up. I'm gonna say display Flex. And so now this one on the right should have this background color. And I'm going to say height 400 pixels. There's multiple ways to do it. I'm doing width by habit. Width 35%. Yeah, lots of ways to do everything. But this scales with the page nicely. But Flex also scales with the page nicely. Okay. So now that we've got this, we've got 5 minutes left. So let's see how far we can get. I'm going to go ahead and put an H1 within here and say meet Django. Does anyone know why they called it Django? I don't. I'm just wondering now that I'm looking at the name.
Why is any technology named what it is? They just love coming up with cool names.
It's actually named after Django Reinhardt, a jazz guitarist from the 1930s.
Oh, I'm gonna look that up. Django Reinhardt. Not that I'm gonna do some research in front of you guys. I'm gonna listen to it later because I do like jazz. Okay. So now that we have this, we need to make the font color white in here. So on the left, I'm gonna say color white. Okay, so now it's there. It's not exactly on the left. I mean centered here. Actually, this is pretty centered. So I'm gonna say on the left, main content left. It is an H4. Text. Let's check if it is centered. No, it's not centered. That doesn't work because it centers the whole text. So I'm gonna say padding, no, margin left. 100 pixels. That's all right. So the H1 and the H4 should be that. So I'm going to put a comma here, add that. There should be some spacing between each. It's pretty much the same space. I'm going to say margin top, 100 pixels. Oh, that's way too much. 50. 40. 30. Okay, 30 is good. Yeah. And is the tech, this is a bit bigger than H3, so H4. So I'm going to say H3. 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 Okay, and that's better. Yeah. Okay, now I can add a button on the right, and I think I should end it there because we're about 2 minutes in to finishing this here. So I'm going to add a button on the right side. And I'm going to say button class equals download button. And in the button, it says download latest release 4.1.5. Okay. Okay. It's there. Let's give this button some depth. Okay, so I'm going to target the right side button. So I'm going to say, I already give it a class download button. I'm going to say it's close to the height of the other button. So height, width. Why don't I just take all of this? And I'll figure out the difference once I see what the button looks like. Okay. Now I just need to give it a place here in the center. And Christian, you said text align center on the button.
On the parent of the button, so whatever the container is, because
Okay.
buttons are inline elements and text align will center inline elements.
Oh, great. So now I need to just add some margin top. Thank you, Christian. There we go. And I think that's a good place to stop. Let's compare what we have. We got the original page on the left, our page on the right. It's pretty close, right? Maybe some spacing between the H1 here. I can put a BR tag at each word. That'll be the last thing I do.
Or we can use line height, like Krishna said.
Yep, or line height. So let's copy that rule. So you put it directly on here, okay? So main content right.
Yeah, line height is just gives it so there's more space between each line of text vertically, essentially.
Okay. I'm assuming it can be by pixel, huh?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, so you put it on the H1 and H3, but you probably want it on what tag do you have there? Oh, that would be on the H3. So 20 pixels is so it's line height's based off of the base font size, which starts at 16 pixels. So usually I use EM or REM units because those are based off of that. So like if you did like 1.5 EM or like 2 EM, you should see the difference.
Perfect. Yeah, that's really nice. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Did anyone have any questions? So you all should be experts now, right? Well, no, it takes some practice, and you know, I did a little prep before this class, so in reality, I may be scratching my head a little bit more, but this for demonstration purposes, this is pretty good. I think we got pretty close here. How much more to this page? Okay, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to go this far down. But within an hour, that's good enough. So yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you. That was very
Yeah.
helpful. I
That
feel
was
like I was
great to see.
overcomplicating it.
That was good.
Yeah, thank you. You did a great job.
Thank you, man. That was
I
crazy.
agree with Matt here. I feel like personally, like I was just over complicating everything. I was just trying to do way too much.
Same here first. A lot of
Something to remember as well about doing demos like this is if you could perfectly exactly recreate a website that, you know, a big company paid a team of developers to develop over the course of 6 months, you know, in an hour, you know, you should be making a lot more. You know, it's not such an easy thing to do to make it perfect and exactly the same in such a short amount of time. There's a lot of work that goes into things like this. Of course, there's all the functionality as well, you know, that we didn't get into, but you know, it's there's a lot of little things behind the scenes, accessibility and you know, scaling and all that sort of stuff. So it looks good at different resolutions that kind of go into this stuff. And so we can get kind of a surface level overview and get an approximation, but you know, the real deal, it's a lot of work, for sure.
Yeah, just to add on to what Christian said, as you get better at creating web pages, you're going to want to build a page for every sort of device. And there's some tools that can help us do this, but I'll just give a sneak preview into this. So if you inspect here, this is Django's page, and I click this button here, I can see how this page looks on an iPad mini, on an iPhone. Let's see, when it's reduced to an iPhone, it has this nav bar button here that you can open and close. But we don't have those features on our website, but we could. Once we finish the website for desktop, then we can optimize it for mobile and whatever other views that you can imagine here. Samsung. Okay.
You are working as a front-end developer. Sometimes you're just working on one shopping button for the whole day. Like the job of that whole day is just basically doing like one small part of the CSS. So that could happen. So yeah, it's good that we can finish so much in in just an hour. So great job, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Christian, especially. Appreciate all your help.
Thank you all.
Stop this here.
It helps a bit. I've been through this a few times.
Did you build this website before, specifically?
A few times.
Okay. Cool. All right. All right. I'm gonna stop the recording.